What's been the process of getting ready for the Super Bowl been like?
Well, this is the biggest game of any sport in America each year. It's an exciting weekend and lots of preparation going into it. We have some big promotions. We have a $55 million free game that top prize $1 million, but everyone who enters, no matter how you finish, gets a free prize of up to $25,000. So that's exciting. And then we have one of my favorites. We have an odds boost where if any team, doesn't matter which, scores a touchdown during the Super Bowl, everybody who bets doubles their money. So I think probably most, if not all, Super Bowls, there's been a touchdown. So it's a pretty good one.
All right, I like that touchdown. It's interesting. We do a money and marketing segment where we highlighted that there are some traditional Super Bowl advertisers that are stepping back this year. You do not fall into that category because you guys are very much looking for making your name known through some commercials. Tell us about your plan there.
Yeah, this is the first year we're doing Super Bowl commercials, and we're doing two of them. So we're very excited about that. There's also some unique opportunities that were offered this year because with less fans in the stands, they can do more during the broadcast. So they'll have some inter bowl, branding that we're going to be able to do. So I'm very excited to be doing this for the first time. We're not sure how it'll work, but we're a very data-driven company, so we're going to be monitoring all the metrics, and hopefully, if it works well, we'll be able to do it again in the future.
Maybe you can just give us, Jason, a little insight into how you navigate opportunity. And I say that because, I mean, obviously you're very familiar with, what's been going on with Robinhood recently. Hey, quite frankly, there are a lot of retail investors who are very interested in DraftKings as a stock. But there's a lot of demand. And because we don't see traditional Vegas activity, that means there might be a lot more demand on a platform like yours. I wonder how you navigate all the excitement and interest with your capabilities.
It's definitely important to keep everything measured and balanced. We're a very data-driven company, so we're constantly looking at metrics, whether that's who's buying our stock and how that looks, or whether it's internal metrics to the business, such as customer acquisition and retention activity. So really just kind of focusing on the facts and data is important to us, being objective and taking a long-term view. We're very much focused on long-term, and hopefully if we do things well over the long term, we'll create great value for our shareholders. We'll build a great company for our customers and employees, and we'll make a lot of money for the states and other parts of the world on the tax revenue side, and we'll contribute to the communities that we operate in. And those are really our five stakeholders.
And we also alluded to that expanded partnership that you have with the NFL into Canada. We're watching this sector very closely in Canada as well. I believe it was in November that the current federal government sort of announced steps to move towards legalizing single event sports betting. Give us a sense on your interpretation of what you can do in the Canadian market and where you might be going down the road.
Well, we've been operating our daily fantasy sports product in Canada for many years. It continues to be a great market for us. We also, that free pick'em, that $55 million free, pool game that we mentioned earlier is available in Canada, so anyone there can enter. And we're very hopeful. You mentioned some of the, recent news about potential steps being taken at the federal level, and then also Ontario moving to do legalization at the province level. So I think it's very much a good possibility that we could see some, DraftKings sports betting and potentially also our iGaming product in Canada in the not too distant future. And we're very excited about that prospect.
Now, the market has gotten excited about that prospect as well. And just to come back to your story, I mean, those who watch regularly might recall you joined us when you guys went public. You went public basically through, what's now very popular as this sort of theme of SPACs, and we had Harry Sloan, who was involved in that deal with you guys, just talk about the DraftKings case study. It feels to me, Jason, I'd love to get your take, that the success of your going public really encouraged other people to follow that model. Months after going through it, by the way, in the middle of a pandemic, what are your takeaways and sort of what it signaled to the rest of the market?
Well, when Harry first told me what a SPAC was, back then SPAC was almost like a dirty four-letter word. Not a lot of companies were considering them, and everybody said to me, well, why would you want to do a SPAC? And really, beyond just really wanting to work with Harry, who's been a fantastic addition to our board. Also, we had a unique type of transaction. We were trying to acquire a company called SB Tech. And really, this structure allowed us to do that while going public at the same time. If we had done a sort of traditional IPO offering, we'd had to split it into two transactions. So this is a much more efficient way for us to do it. Definitely, we're not expecting a global pandemic at the time we decided to do it, which was, back in 2019. It was a bit of a curveball when about a month and change before closing, all major sports were postponed indefinitely. And I remember watching, it was a SPAC stock at the time, watching the whole market, including ours, go down. And, then everything recovered much faster than people thought. We were able to close the deal, and everything's going great since then. And, now I think with sports having really, poured over data and really figured out how to manage through this, I'm very optimistic that we won't see any further shutdowns, but you never know, and we're always prepared for anything. We have lots of different offerings, including, things on political debates, TV shows, and other things that we established during that sports shutdown. So hopefully we won't see another one, but we're well prepared to get back to some of those things if it does happen.
So as we wrap things up, how do you think investors should think about the business of DraftKings? It's been such a wild time in the stock market. You're running a company that is worth, at least in the market's eyes, a lot more than traditional Vegas players like, say, Wynn Resorts or MGM at this stage of the game. But, we saw some news over the last day or so. One of the more influential tech investors in Cathie Wood, who added your stock to her next generation internet ETF. I mean, how do you think of your business? Do you think of yourselves as basically a technology company that just happens to be facilitating sports betting?
Well, we're very honored that Cathie and ARK have viewed us in that way and have made an investment. And it's very much aligned with how we look at ourselves. We look at ourselves as a technology company, a company that's mobile first, and a company that really is going to continue to innovate as the space evolves. And we have ambitions well beyond what we do today. We want to expand more internationally. We're going to get into other products over time. Those are things that I think our unique setup as a tech-first company will allow us to do more efficiently and effectively than maybe some other types of players in the market. And, really exactly what you described is how we look at ourselves. We look at ourselves as an innovator, as a technology company, and as someone that's going to keep blazing a new trail as this industry, which is still very much in the early days. I mean, we are still very early on, at least in the U.S. I know other parts of the world, like the U.K., are a bit farther along, but U.S. and Canada, it's still early days, and we're looking forward to being a big part of what comes.
Yeah, well, as we said, I mean, who knew we'd see the journey we've seen in the markets over the last year? Who knew Tom Brady would keep making it back to the big game? Any predictions for Sunday, Jason? I know that's not your area of expertise, but
yeah,
you're pretty informed.
I'm from New England, so I'm a Brady fan, and I would love to see him pull this off. It would be remarkable. Right now, the money is interestingly split. There's about 70% of bets that are on the Chiefs on the spread. But the money line is about 57, 58% Bucks. So it'll be an interesting one. And, I, as a fan, I'm looking forward to seeing Brady win. But honestly, I have no idea. It's such a close matchup, such a good matchup. I could see it going either way.